Hey everybody, what is up? This is Devin, LaVore, and
LaVore
coming at you. And we really feel like, I wanted to share this yesterday, but we really feel like today's word, it's not even really today's word, is it?
Yeah.
It's not even really a word for a season or a month.
Yeah.
It's like, it's the word for the next thing, the next life that God has for us. And we know that as we share what's going on with us, it'll resonate with those of you who God's speaking it to as well.
Yeah.
But we really feel like, tell them what the word is.
Going beyond.
Yes, that is the word, man, that God gave. After God did that inner healing thing with me, and then we didn't know that Michelle was going to have her own little inner revealing.
Yeah.
I had a healing. She had a revealing. I'm sensing a something there.
Yeah.
There was a healing, and then there was a revealing as a prophetic sign.
Yeah.
And but during that time, God, that very night after it all happened, God was like, we're going beyond. And I felt like, oh, okay, this is going to be like a cool look. And then you felt like it's not going to be just a moment.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like it's going to be like this. It's going to be like the rest of our lives.
Yeah.
You know? And then God woke me up at 8 o'clock this morning, and I was like, right at 8 o'clock, 8:00.
Yeah.
And he was like, I just knew it was the Lord. And I had that same kind of sense when I gave the 8 prophetic P's of August.
Yeah.
I woke up at 6:30. I'm like, this never happens. Woke up at 8 and no one was awake. At 8 o'clock, that's unheard of.
Which also is actually a testimony to God's presence being with us the other night, because we were like, okay, our 2 kids could sleep together again, and they were up until like
they were up till like almost midnight. Almost midnight,
and it was just.
And I was like, okay, this is normal.
Yeah, and I was like, okay, this is. Hey, you know, God's saying, yes, I really did meet with you guys, and here is just more confirmation of that.
Yeah. Now you know we're gonna have to put him in the video because he's making a lot of noise.
He is.
Surprise! So, and I remember the next day, I don't know, was it the next day afterwards that I started getting all the 21's? I think it was.
Yeah.
I think it was. It was the next day I started getting all the 21's. And I mean, they were coming crazy first thing in the morning, really fast. And I was like, Lord, 21? I was like, what does that mean? And even almost even before I could finish asking the question, the Lord just started downloading right away. And he was like, 21, it's beyond expectation.
Yeah.
Because Ephesians 3:20 is, you know, the number 20 is expectation, the number of expectation. So Ephesians 3:20 is to go above and beyond all that you can dare ask and think and all that stuff. And then I was like, and he was like, so what's verse 21 say?
Yeah.
And verse 21 says, to him be the glory in the church forever and ever, amen. And I just felt like the Lord was like, glory, man.
Yeah.
Glory, what's beyond is glory. And then he started giving me all these revelations about 21, you know, and how 21 basically just meant going beyond, like Psalm 20. Felt like the Lord shared that with me this morning. He was saying, like, you've been living Psalm 20 for 23 years of knowing me.
Yeah.
You know, but what Psalm 20 is a prayer and a request and a declaration and a plea and an act of trust and walking it out and just believing that God is going to fulfill the desire of the heart, fulfill the prophecy that was spoken over David, who wrote the psalm. And then Psalm 21 is beyond. It's the, oh my gosh, you really did it. I'm really living in it. This is really actually happening, right? And then so I really, really have to share this because our friend, SHELLEY L, she's another YouTuber, and she's really just another hardcore believer, pillar in the body, pillar in the temple of God type of, you know. Yeah. And I've talked about SHELLEY L before, and so she sent this thing. There it is, right there. Just take a good look at it real quick, and you'll see why it is so important. You know, and I just was like, oh my gosh. When she shared that, I was like flipping out, you know? So I had put out this word on my Facebook page, and it was talking about spring is happening now in the spirit, whereas the enemy's speaking falling, the words falling and all that. The Lord was saying it's springtime. And so based on, probably, I think I'd mentioned this in a previous video, so Shelley, she sent that post, because God speaks to her like this all the time, and it's like amazing.
Yeah.
But this is the thing. If you notice in that, I got it right here, hello, and if you notice, it says season 21. Like, this is the season to enter into 21. This is the season to go beyond Psalm 20 and the expectation and the hope and the long-awaited promise and hoping and believing, but never receiving.
Yeah.
God's like, this is the time for it. Not only that, but man, up to that point and even to this day, we've been getting 5 5s like crazy. Like 5 5 5. 55. I mean, the 5s were all over the place.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, oh my gosh. And then on this thing, it says season 21 5 times.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you what, I mean, I don't care what anybody who's a skeptic or they don't believe, man, God works these things out. He speaks this way. And it's amazing. So we had to feed the baby.
Yeah.
I'm sure you're used to that by now.
Yeah.
So he's over there. He's probably going to be making some noises. But anyway, so like I was saying, that Shelley L. sent us this, and it was in response to that video or the Facebook post that I put up about it's springtime in October, and God is springing things up, and we are going beyond, where the enemy's trying to make you think that the promise of God is completely failed. We've waited too long. It's never going to happen. God is like, I am springing up, and I'm going beyond.
Yeah, which I also thought it was really cool that when you came, you said that you felt like God was saying it's springtime, and because it reminded me of with Joshua and them crossing over to the Jordan, that actually happened during the springtime season.
I know.
And
I did not even know that.
Yeah, because it
Until
said it was like the 10th day of the first month is when they officially crossed over, which in the Hebrew calendar, that's around like March, April time for us. And so it's that spring time, like it's coming forth.
And it's so awesome.
Yeah.
So awesome. Yeah, and it was really cool because not only did it say the season 21 5 times, I actually saw this at 11:55.
Yeah.
Or after, no, I think I might have saw it a little bit before that, but after I was done, responding to it and freaking out about it, I looked up to see what time it was, and it was 11:55. I was like, are you serious?
Yeah.
Not only that, the video time is 21 minutes and 59 seconds. Now, why is that 59 important to us? Because that is 59. God was using 59 on us there for a little bit, and he was saying that I'm getting ready to just go completely to a different hour of your life, because 59 is the last hour of an hour, or last minute of an hour, the last hour of an hour. Anyway, and so all of this was just so confirming, and it's just like God speaks to Shelley like this, all the time, and I was like, this is amazing, and
which just kind of goes further into like last night, and Devin touched on a little bit, is the Psalm 20. And we actually have, when we first got married, I bought us I bought a Bible. It was my gift for Devin. And
this one right here.
And it's
actually been through a lot.
It has. And actually you can't really see it, but it says
it's got an inscription,
and it says Psalm 20. And
that was my psalm when I met you.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, I've had this psalm since forever.
Yeah.
It's probably since I read it. I don't know.
And so like last night it was just like Psalm 20, and I was like, whoa, like God just showed me for us, and possibly for some of you, it's like this Psalm 20 chapter of our life, where that's just been the entire declaration of it, is now going to become Psalm 21.
Yeah.
And I know, and
it's like that's going to be like our whole life.
Yeah. And that's the thing, is like with this, it's like season 21, Psalm 21.
Yeah.
Like I felt though God was saying it's not just a season where it's like, this short amount of time, but that it's like, it's long term. Like he's taking our life in particular from the Psalm 20 to the Psalm 21, and it just keeps going.
And I feel like it relates to the whole God's getting ready to turn the power back on.
Yeah.
Because he's not going to turn it on and then turn it off.
Yeah.
This is not going to happen, you know? And I think what he's getting ready to do is what Kim Clement prophesied 8 years ago about the great move of God, a great revival is coming to America, and America will be great again. Well, it's like, well, what made America great to begin with?
Yeah.
It was God.
Yeah.
Bringing God. You know, I know that it's like a big political thing that can cause division about Donald Trump's whole "Let's make America great again." But I really felt like that was a prophetic word.
Yeah.
That was God, you know, Easter egging his self and like, yes, this is exactly what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
I'm going to make America great again by bringing myself back to America. The years of my judgment are over. I am coming back in power, and which kind of relates to something that God spoke to me this morning, which also he showed me the other day, because God was showing me how how God's been speaking to us about the number 6 and the number 13, and how they are not bad numbers, right? And then in my other video, I was like, 6 almost is like better than 7, you know. I was like, of course, that was wrong, but. You know, all the numbers are good, but it's like 7 represents God stepping in, you know, so obviously 6 is not going to be better than 7. But, and I think it was that day that we got the 21's. I think it was that day that we saw 11:11 on the clock both times. Yeah. 11:11 a.m. and 11:11 p.m. And I was like, wow, this is crazy. Twice in one day. Yeah. At a time where we've never seen. I mean, we've seen 11:11 like on a timestamp on a video or something like that. But I think maybe one other time on the clock. But I don't remember it. But I do remember it the other day. Yeah. You know? And so I felt like the Lord was showing me, like, he was like, here, let me show you something. And this was before he showed me what he showed me today. He showed me like 6 is the number of man, plus 7 is the number of God. That equals 13, which is the number of love. And God's like, that is like the divine addition of his heart. Yeah. You know, man plus God equals love that cannot be broken, love that is unstoppable, love that is just all the things that my son Joah says. Show us how, you know, fill in the blank your love is. And he'll say unbreakable, unstoppable,
responsible.
You know. So this morning when me and you were talking about Jericho.
Yeah, I was talking about how you had mentioned Jericho and how like God, it's like God had, we have done everything that as men can, you know, everything that we could possibly do to have this miracle come about.
That's your number 6.
And then it was like you were feeling like God was like, but I am going to step in.
Right. Now it's my turn.
It's the day 7 of like the walls of Jericho.
Now it's the Kairos moment where God steps in and he does what only he can do. Yeah. And God's been prophesying that a lot lately. Yeah. You know, about I'm getting ready to step in and do what only I can do. So when you have man doing it, because it's in addition to man, it's in addition to all the, you know, Psalm 20 offerings and sacrifices and the sacrificial love, which is what number 6 represents. That sacrificial love, that love that sacrifices and gives, but it's not getting anything in return. Yeah. It's later on. God adds his response to man's efforts, and the most unbreakable thing, which is the walls of Jericho, suddenly, bam, are broken. Yeah. Suddenly, they're toppled. And that's what we've been praying over our financial life. Last night, man, woo, prayers were crazy. Yeah. I was praying some Swahili in the spirit or something. I don't know what it was. I was like, man, my prayer language is totally different. I don't know if it's as a result of what God's done in my life, but it's completely, it sounds totally different. So that's just what I felt like the Lord was saying. Like, I really feel like God is just, everything he's saying right now is confirming that word of we are going beyond. Yeah. Even the numbers for us today are 4-4, like crazy.
Yeah.
All day today, God's been just saying like, creative miracle is coming. We watched that. We watched this video today about Jesus and how he put the spit in the mud and put the mud in the guy's eyes, and I was like, wow, now that is a creative miracle. You know, because that's what's number 4 is about creation and what God's getting ready to create this new life for us, this new opportunity.
So that's mostly what we wanted to share, but I also just wanted to share with you guys one thing that I feel like for me really helps in just kind of why is God giving us these visions, and why is he giving us these scriptures and all of the stuff that it seems like, why'd you give it to me, you know,
why is it taking
forever for this to seemingly come to pass?
This is good.
And we were talking last night, and Devin was like, you basically kind of came up with this picture of like what it might be like. And it's, first of all, it's like God is outside of time. And so he sees everything. He sees your whole life. I mean, he sees everything, not just your life, but
he sees all of it.
He sees all of it. And so we were talking about how, like, okay, so here's this, if you picture God as like a fisherman, and we're fish in this water, you know.
Yeah, our whole world, our whole lives are just underwater.
It's underwater.
So it's like, imagine like maybe for a fish coming outside of the water for a second is like a supernatural experience. And then you have to go back in the water, because you can't just go out of the water and then hang out. I'm out of the water.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Fish out of water is not good. in that regard.
Which is why sometimes like our spiritual experiences are so intense and then they fade.
Yeah.
You know?
But it was like, but if you have the fisherman, he's trying to get the fish to come to this particular spot. And if you put that into like a timeline, God's like, okay, I know where I want you to go. How am I going to get you there? And it's like, he's going to cast out these promises to basically, like a lure, to bring us closer to the place that he wants us to come. And it's like, and if you put it in the timeline, it's like he might be sending out this promise to you 20 years before it happens, but that's what starts you to come in, and then
he's already 20 years in the future.
Yeah,
he sees what you will become if you hook in to that promise, into the word, the incorruptible, undying word. If you hook into it, he's going to be pulling you toward that future, for he knows the thoughts and plans that he has for you, because he's standing right in it. He's standing in the fulfillment, but you're just not. So he's casting that word into you, and he wants you to believe it so he can draw you to where he wants you to be, you know?
And it's like, and I think, you know, and as you continue, God just continues to give you more, so that you, it's
seriously,
like,
I have like 40 scriptures. That I'm like, wow, Lord, that's a lot that you need to fulfill. Praise the Lord.
Yeah. and I feel like too, it for myself, it's like, it was really good, because, you know, a lot of times God is declaring over us who we are, but in the natural we might be like, I don't feel like that person. The things are, my circumstances don't tell me I'm that person, but it's that God is outside of that. He knows who you are, because he sees already who you become and who you really are.
And he's like, I'm hanging out with that person right now at this time in the future, so you need to be that person so we can hang out. I know it's kind of sci-fi, creepy. See, that's why I write these novels, because these are the kind of thoughts I have. This is literally how God relates to me. I just got a word of knowledge. I personally believe it's a word of knowledge. What was it, last night? I was deep in the presence of God. Like, I mean, my life has really changed since God healed me. I mean, the evidence is so clear, and it's continuing to grow. It's like Lana Vosser said, you are about to be very, very fruitful. And we're thinking, wow, this is really actually happening in our lives, your life, in the lives of our kids. And But it's like, God's like, don't think that this is just another spiritual thing.
Yeah.
It will translate into something physical.
Yeah.
It has to.
Yeah.
It absolutely has to. And so, but man, God just came on me all of a sudden, didn't he?
Yeah.
Just all of a sudden, just that same kind of visitation of the Lord just hit me. And I mean, everything just shut down.
Yeah.
And I was just in the presence of God. And I was just like, wow. I'm kind of feeling the Lord right now, honestly. But anyway, Lord, you know I got to do this video. But anyway, so I was just so deep in the presence of the Lord. It reminded me of those times when you've been like
In labor.
pregnant, like deep in labor.
Yeah.
Like you can't have a conversation with her.
No.
Nothing. And she's just her eyes are closed and she's like, she's doing her breathing thing. And then sometimes it's like she goes into a trance.
Uh-huh.
And it's just like she's just not there.
Yeah.
But she's aware of what's going on, right?
Yeah, I mean, you can hear things, but you're not
responding
to anything because you're just so focused.
Yeah, that's what was going on with us. But so while I'm under this kind of heavy anointing, I get this vision of this scene from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yeah.
And one of the characters in that movie or in that TV show is called Lincoln. And it was weird. I was just in this scene and I entered into this room where Lincoln, he was kind of on the run at the time. And Lincoln came around the corner and he just kind of looked at me. And I was like that. And the only information that was relevant is that I knew his name. I was like, that's Lincoln. And right away, I felt like the Lord was like, Lincoln. And I'm like, what in the world? But now watch the move of God. God moved us into this Sean Bowles word of knowledge type thing. Yeah, so baby had to get him. He was just like, I want in the video, please. But anyway, we're in the second to last stage of, it's an 8-week course.
Yeah.
And we're in week 7. We just got the download on Monday. But we've been going through this, and I was like, Lord, I really want to do this. And God was like, buy it. Just do it. Because it was a $50 course. And this was like a month and a half before it was even meant to start. And
He's spitting up.
No, he got a little bit. It's nothing they haven't seen. Anyway, so he was I was watching how he processes things.
Yeah.
And how the Lord speaks to him in different ways. And I'm just like, wow, the Lord does that? That's like amazing that because he had this one vision. He was getting this thing. He was like, I'm seeing Howard the Duck. Like, does that mean anything to you? And the dude's last name was Howard. Yeah. And I was like, what? And it was like right then the Lord began to minister more. And I was like, it blew my mind. Going through this whole Sean Bowles season has really opened my mind. Just like the numbers of God have really opened. And I didn't realize just how uncreative. I mean, I consider myself knowing the Lord pretty well. Yeah. But I didn't realize how uncreative my relationship with God really was. Yeah. I mean, it took me years to step out in faith and start writing my Covenant series novels because I just felt like, I don't know, does the Lord do that? The Lord's into like Christian nonfiction, self-help type stuff. He's not into that. And I'm just like, all the while, I'm going like, hey, man, what's on that TV show? Ooh, I love this TV show. You know what I mean? Yeah. The Lord's not convicting me or anything. And it's just like, it's just so weird how our minds will work sometimes. Yeah. But it's like now God's using that. And I just knew it was just like, it was a strange thing. But it's like the whole point of this whole big, long example is like God in the midst of this heavy anointing, like something I haven't experienced in like almost 20 years. Like there was God using this picture to say something about Lincoln. Do I know what Lincoln means? No, I have no idea. Yeah. But I really felt like it was something that's like, okay, I felt like the Lord was like, or I shared it with you, and I was like, we need to write this down or something, because this is going to mean something to somebody. Hey, it might mean something to you. Anyone out there named Lincoln? Lincoln mean anything to anybody out there? Yeah. Yeah. Because it was very strong. And it was just like the only thing. It was like God wanted me to. It was almost like once Lincoln came around the corner and looked at me, it was almost like the Lord put it on pause. And he was just like, that's Lincoln. Lincoln. And it was just like, it was a really strong thing,
Yeah. So, I think it really is, God is showing us that he works. One, he's outside of time. So we need to just keep that in mind. And two,
no word that he speaks returns void.
Yeah, and the other thing is just that he is so creative. He can speak to us in so many different ways. It can be through numbers. It can be through things that we like. It can be through things that we see, our children, everything that has been created, God can speak through. And so I just, hope that this has been an encouraging video to you guys. And
we're going beyond.
Yeah, we are going beyond. And God...
We're entering into the 21 season. Oh, yeah. You know what else? Can I throw in a little epilogue that I felt like it was the Lord. I felt like the Lord showed me this picture and he was like, do you notice something about that? It was like, now work with me here. I just felt like the Lord was like, Judge Judy is a judge.
Yeah.
And I felt like the Lord said, it's the judge of the living that is decreeing over you that you are going beyond. You are going into the season of fulfillment.
Yes.
You are going into the season of desire fulfilled. No longer will you have this hope-deferred sickness. No longer are you going to be waiting, and just one more day. There's coming a point. I don't know when, but God is decreeing it. The judge of all things is decreeing over you for the sake of generations to come after you, that you are stepping into a season 21, a Psalm 21 life. Not just a season, but a Psalm 21 life. So, there's that.
There's that too. So, anyway,
little dessert.
You guys can... we just also wanted to say thank you to everyone who has just been giving us so much encouragement on the comments. We really appreciate it. And
what the stuff we're sharing is actually helping somebody.
So just keep your comments coming. And
we love you guys. We appreciate every comment.
Yeah. And again, if you didn't know, we have Devin LaVore Facebook page. So if you want to go there, you can also keep up with us there and get more comments and more revelation from us as God continues to reveal himself to us. Yeah. So until next time, we'll see you guys later.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.